Hello everyone, welcome back to DIY Fun Ventures. As you can see, my fish tank needs to be topped off. Looks like about 2 gallons have evaporated since the last one. In this episode, while I show you my elaborate DIY process, I'd like to take the opportunity to talk about GH, General Hardness, and KH, Carbonate Hardness. It seems that most of the posts online are about ammonia, nitrates, and cycling the fish tanks, but not many discuss GH and KH and importance of maintaining proper levels. As you can see, my process starts off with me testing my aquarium water to get a read on the current GH and KH levels. I use the API test kit and I use the conversion chart provided in the kit. Here on the right side of the screen you can see the chart where I have highlighted the usual levels in my tank. I try to keep my GH at 6 GH or 107 ppm and KH also at 6. I chose these parameters because it seems that 100 ppm is the sweet spot for most of the fish and plants, and the same goes for KH, about 6 KH. So let's start the testing process. I simply add 5 milliliters of water into the glass test tube and then add the testing solution while shaking the tube after every drop. Count every drop until the color changes. In case of GH, test is completed when the color turns green from orange, and for KH, blue turns bright yellow. Count how many drops it took and then check the chart. Let's start testing the GH first. And I missed the first drop. It's kind of difficult to do this while you're looking through the camera. Let's try this all over again. And here we go. 1, 2, hopefully you guys are counting along. I wasn't. But here we go. That's 7 drops, so that means 7 GH. So that is 1 point higher than I want it to be. I would like to be 6 GH. Now we're gonna try testing the KH. Again, fill up the tube, 5 milliliters of the aquarium water. Straight up to that little line that marks 5 milliliters. Another technical difficulty, but that was 1 drop. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So KH is 5 and GH is 7. Now that we know our current levels, we can get the water ready. I need to adjust the levels in the new water, so when I add it to the tank, I can lower the GH but not raise the KH. I've already used my RO filter to filter about 15 gallons of water. This took about 4 hours. So my dog had time to put his face into there a few times. So once you see the floaties, don't mind that, please. So 15 gallons, it's gonna be 5 gallons per aquarium. See all the little floaties in the hair and stuff that's floating? That's because of my dog. Once the water is ready, I'm gonna pump it with that little pump through that hose all the way up through that little hole in the wall, and then it's going to get pumped into my aquarium, and I'll show you guys that process later on too. So let's start testing the actual filtered water. I've already added most of the minerals and fertilizers to this water, but I left the GH and KH levels a little low so we can do a test and I can show you what it takes to get the water ready. But while I do this, I want to talk about why I go through this trouble testing for KH and GH. Maintaining appropriate KH and GH levels is crucial for the stability and health of a freshwater aquarium. For KH, high levels help maintain a stable pH, benefiting fish and plants by providing a consistent environment. However, excessively high KH can make it difficult to adjust pH and may reduce CO2 availability, stunning the plant growth. Low KH can lead to rapid and dangerous pH fluctuations, stressing out or killing the fish and plants, and potentially making the water too acidic over time. This instability can hinder plants' growth and damage plant tissues. GH impacts both fish and plants by determining the water's mineral content, particularly calcium and magnesium. High GH provides essential minerals that support plant cell structure and growth, but excessively high levels can cause imbalances and make other nutrients less available, potentially stressing fish and that prefer more softer water. Low GH can lead to mineral deficiencies, resulting in poor plant growth and weakened plant structures. While some plants and fish thrive in softer water with low GH, if levels drop too low, it can cause issues with nutrient availability and osmosis regulation. Thus, balancing KH and GH is essential for ensuring a healthy, thriving aquarium environment. If you're someone like me and you use the top-off method, then you should check your GH and KH more often than usual. And here's why. The water out of my faucet is at 10 GH. I had never checked, assuming it would be fine. But as the time went on, I started to notice that my aquarium didn't seem healthy. I noticed plants were not happy. Some of the plants started to melt. This is when I checked the GH levels, and it was at like 14 GH. This is almost double the required 6 to 7 GH for the freshwater. So I had to take action, and I got myself the reverse osmosis or RO filter, and where I could filter out the water and get the mineral levels and adjust the mineral levels myself. You can see currently I'm adding more buffer, alkaline buffer, and if needed, if let's say the pH goes too high, and I could use the acid buffer to bring the pH down and adjust the KH to proper levels. This is the magnesium I use. I'm gonna add a little bit more magnesium to elevate the GH levels. I have already added some magnesium initially, and I've also added some calcium. So we're gonna add a little bit more magnesium now. Give it a. Here's the calcium. I've already added some Flourish. You can see Flourish has all the needed minerals for the plants to grow. There is also calcium and magnesium in there, but just very little or small levels. In addition to Flourish, I also use mineral balance. I use this to bring up the TDS or the levels of the total dissolved solids in the water. I just follow the instructions that come on the bottle to bring up the levels. I've already added this in the water. This also has some calcium and magnesium in there and other minerals. I tried not to make the water too hard. When I check the water that comes out of my faucet, the TDS is about 280, 300. But I try to keep this here about 180 to 200. After we add all the additional nutrients and chemicals in there, let's give it another mix, and we're going to do another quick test to see where we are with our levels, and then we're going to just add this water into the aquarium. Back at our testing table, my mad laboratory. I spilled some water. All right, so let's do this again. 5 milliliters. 1 GH, 2 still orange, 3 turned yellowish. Let's try it again. Let's see if the color will change more. And no, so 3 GH. So this should be enough. If I add this should bring down the GH levels in my aquarium from 7 hopefully to 6 and not lower than that. Now we're going to try the KH. Exactly 5 milliliters. And here we go. 1 should be blue. 2. 3. 4. And we got 4 kH. Honestly, I should have added more, but sometimes when I try to adjust the kH levels, then I overshoot. So it's better be a little less than more, since we could have kH between 3 and 6. Alright, well, let's start the process of topping off the water. I have this thing that I made a while ago, and I've made a video on how I do my water changes using this device. I call it my drip system. I have a smaller one I made for my shrimp tank, but this bigger one is for my main tank. I'm gonna attach the hose that goes down into my worms tank. I'll show you guys right now. This goes down all the way into the tank at the bottom where I grow black worms. You can see the water is kind of murky now. It's time to refresh this. So by doing my top off, I'm gonna open up this a valve, and the water out of the aquarium is going to fill the worms tank. And then from here I have a little pump that's going to pump this water out into a bucket in my bathroom. So there you go. I turn on the pump is pumping the water now into the tank, and then the old water comes out into here. I'm gonna hook up that little pump. There it goes. The aquarium water is much fresher than the water in a worm tank, so it helps. Plus it adds some nutrients from the aquarium for them to eat, in addition to whatever I'm feeding the worms. But yeah, so the water comes from the top into the worm tank, and then it gets pumped out of there into the bucket. There it is. And then what I do with this water, since it's pretty nutritious, I collect this and I use this to water the plants. And I also give it to my friend at work so he could water his plants with this. I've noticed the plants actually grow pretty much better with this water than just plain water, because there's so much nutrients in this water. So we see half of the water is gone. The tank was missing about 2 gallons, so I filled up 2 gallons and I kind of refreshed the rest of the water. You'll see once the water reaches the edge, we will stop pumping the water into this tank, and then of course we'll check and see what are the levels now, my GH and KH levels. There we go. 5 gallons done. Close this. As you can see, I don't vacuum the floors. I just do this as a top of. I have a underground filter, so it clears the bottom without me actually vacuuming it. Check the level. Yes, we're at the edge. That's where I want to be. And that's it. I'm done with my water change or water top off. Of course, I'm gonna continue the same process with my all other aquariums. I'm gonna just move my drip system from my main tank into the guppy tank. But before I do the guppy tank, I'm gonna do a quick test of this water so we could finish the video and not prolong it any longer. So, quick test from the main tank. Let's see what we have now. One, two, three, and 4. Unfortunately, we're at 4 kH, so it's actually much lower than I wanted. But again, it's better to have lower kH for me than higher, because the higher kH raises up the pH too much. Currently my pH is at 7.0, 7.1, and next week or in 2 weeks when I top of the water, I'll raise up the kH a little higher. Now let's check the GH. Hopefully the GH levels are on on a dot. That's 2. 3, 4, 5 GH. So the GH is also lower than I wanted. I wanted to have GH 6, but I've noticed that within a week or two my GH goes up a point or two, so this is not bad. I'm pretty sure next week when I check, my GH will actually be at 6 where I want it to be, and if not, then I'll go ahead and adjust it. Well, I hope you guys liked this video and hopefully learned something new, and if you did, please hit that like button and of course subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the future in the new videos. Thank you for watching and bye bye.